I built this landing page with the new Opus 5 model. All the visuals are made in Google Flow, so all the images, all the videos. So today I'm going to show you the full workflow, the full process on how exactly I did this. So let's get started. So in the previous video, I focused more on the image consistency, the image generation, the transparent cutouts, the character pose, or the general parallax like this. So, yeah, but in this video, it's going to be different. It's more about the workflow itself. So how we can get to this kind of landing page from start to finish so that I can apply it to any type of website that you want, any topic that you need to build. So this is less about adding more effects. It's more about connecting everything together. So the assets, the code, and the product story so that they all kind of reinforce each other. So this is a fictional robotic product, but the page is designed as a real product launch. So we have this the subject here, which is the product, and it is clear. So we don't want anything vague. So this robot itself has this black visor and this white polymer with the studio lighting effect behind it as for the image. So this is really important because, for example, if you have your own product, then you will have your own photos, your own images. Then you can use that, but also more and more, a lot of websites are using AI generated assets. So if you have an image of your product, then you can use it as reference and create other angles of it, or have it more like a real professional photo shoot, or even create videos out of it. So professional agency level videos so that you don't have to hire. So it's more and more common, and it's important to understand the prompting, the idea, the spirit behind it, so that once you need this kind of assets, then you are ready, whether it's for your own products or for a client. So this is important, as I said. So this kind of image shows, it's really professional, and we see some lighting reflections, and that's what we are looking for in this particular template. So let's have a look at the rest of the landing page itself. So here we have like this kind of assembling animation here. So this website has, everything is clear. So it introduces the product, it explains how it's assembled, it assembled, and then it shows all these the parts here. It shows what's inside, how it's made of. It demonstrates how it behaves in a home. So we have multiple shots. Here we have this very nice animation here that shows the head of the robot itself, and then we have some here some hover animation, and then we have the other parts. So if you have a product, then you can show exactly all the specifications, all the parts, all the features that it has. So those are really great animations. But before we start thinking about animations, we have to think about the story itself. So because that's really important, you have to think of this as an experience. So as the user scrolls your website, your template, then your landing page, then it has to create some kind of emotions so that it will stick with them. So finally, at the end, we have this a way for the user to reserve the model here. So our CTA section. So we create the product story, and then each section has to have its own specific responsibility. So the model that we are using is the latest one from Anthropic. So it's Claude Opus 5 that just came out. So this model is, really great. We can see the benchmark here, but, the benchmark, take it as it is, take it with a grain of salt, because the real testing is when you are going to actually work with it with real project. So my own experience about this model is that, a bit like Sonnet 5 that came out before that. So this Opus model is half the cost of Fable. But sometimes I feel like it tends to overcomplicate things and use a lot of usage. And just like Sonnet 5, it is very cheap compared to Opus and Fable, but in some cases, when you use a higher reasoning, then it becomes more expensive because it's using more tokens. So as I always said, you always have to think about the big picture. So think in terms of overall usage if you want to compare, the pricing range. But overall, this model is super great, and we're going to use it for creating the art direction and also as the assets creator and as well as the page behavior that we're going to build. So now let's talk about the prompt. So we have this file here that's going to be available in the description so you can follow along. So when working with a website, then let's say you want to start with something a bit broad as of the prompting. So for exploration. So for this website, it could be something like asking for a premium home robot that would feel useful, calm, and that would be realistic and believable. So the flow that we're going to work with Opus 5 is some kind of interview so that the model is going to ask you questions and then extract like what we really want. So sometimes you don't think about a certain topic or aspect, and the AI can help you with that, and it can make things really clearer. So here we are going to ask it to be a senior product strategist and digital art director. So we want to turn this product here into a premium landing page. So this would be your idea here. So make sure you adapt it to your topic, so to your landing page, to your own product. So here for the first pass, we are going to work with the product itself. So the product category, the primary audience. So these are all the questions that it's going to ask you and clarify on some stuff that you might not think. So it could be the known facts about the product or real world constraints. So for this template, our page must prove that the robot is engineered. It's safe around people. It's precise with its hand, and it's calm enough to live that you can live with it, so that the robot will not scare anyone in the family. So those are the points that we want to highlight on our template. And for a different kind of product, then you would come up with something else that would be related to that product by going through this kind of interview with Opus. So for the second pass, it's going to be related to the visual. So we want something to be consistent. So for example, here we have the visual aspect of the robot. So the pearl shell, the black joints, the dark visor, so all the different accents. So here we want everything that is going to be identical, and also variables that can vary. So the third pass is going to be the guardrails and conversion. So the stuff that we don't want. So visual cliche, we don't want competitor patterns as well for our landing page, and the tone to avoid for. So it could be the kind of style that you don't want to be used on the website with this kind of product. So it could be some kind of cyberpunk glow, some glass panels, or some orbs. We don't want anything generic. We don't want repetitive stuff. And of course, you can add your own guardrails as well. So then we have the rules that you can add as well. So I want you to check and notice this, so that for every detail, we want a tag, whether it's known, decided, or placeholders. So this will make sure we're going to help AI to not hallucinate. So anything that is unconfirmed will remain as placeholders. And this you can make another pass and decide on the path you want to follow. So then once you went through all the interview, then we're going to have the output. We're going to have all the product truth, the visual, the invariants, the flexible variables, the story beat. So you check the result, and then you just go back and forth with AI until you're completely satisfied with the result and the direction that it's going. So once you're satisfied with the direction that it's going, then you can continue and ask it to build it. But we can also ask it to have a prompt, and it would look something like this. So we have this, the product itself. It's going to be the robot, which is a premium general purpose home humanoid. So with all this, the specifications here. So, for example, the research for the height, it researched the typical height for a home robot, and then we have all the features, the visuals. So this came with all the research and all the back and forth with the agent interviewing you. So we also have, for example, here the structure, the face, and then we have some accents here, the violet accent, as well as the rules at the bottom here, so we can, make sure that it's consistent about the image. And then you have some visual here, and the rules about how you are the workflow. So you can ask it to ask for approval before any art directions, any um, prompting, or if you use any paid API to make sure that you approve it before it starts to generate them. So all of this is very much more specific. So it's going to be more detailed. So this is way easier and much more optimized than just asking to build a simple robot template. So because Anthropic doesn't have their own image generation, then I'm using Google Flow here, which uses the Nano Banana model and the VO for the VO generation. So in this project, you see that you can see a lot of iterations or different assets, images, and videos. Some you already saw on the template, and some are not in there. So it's important to go to have as much assets as possible so that you can choose the best ones, because it's AI, so it's not going to always give you good results. And here we can see, and we can also look at some prompting here. So if we look at the prompt here, so what we're looking for, we're going to describe it, everything as much details as possible. So we have to also describe the camera, the lighting, the position, the motion. So here we have the white helmet panel separates smoothly outwards, and the smoke visor lifts away. So then we're talking about the motion, we're talking about the camera here. So those things are really important. And also make sure to add a reference image. So once you have created the one that the style that you are looking for, then every time you want to create a shot, another asset, and make sure to give it some reference to be sure that it's going to create the assets, the image, and the video consistently. But it's AI, so it's always going to make some mistakes. So just make sure to verify. Like, for example, I have a video here that I have only noticed later on that this face is not the same. So maybe this might be another version, an option for the robot. But it's quite funny. So we can see multiple ones. This is also really, I find this really beautiful. And the spine shot here, very nice. There was another one that I really liked. But you can see that it went through a lot of iteration, and that's the full workflow, the full process. So this one, the spine here is really nice, but the actual robot is more in like a female option, which is not consistent. Or so this is also great. And though these are the first versions, and it went through some quite of transformation, because this, it's not something that I really like. It's very, too generic. So compared to this one, you know, and you can browse other websites. So to get some inspiration, you can also check other AI generation platforms. For example, Midjourney, that tends to have more style and more artistic images. So look around and make sure to have a good reference, so that the AI is going to have some kind of reference. Because otherwise, then if you're just prompting regularly, then you will get something like this, which is it could be good for some purpose, but not for the style that I was looking for. So now let's look at the website, starting with the hero section. And again, all the prompts will be available for all this. So the hero section here, how it's made is that we have a cutout here, and then an oversized title font typography in the back. And we have the background here, which creates a parallax effect. So with the cursor, when you're moving the cursor, everything moves at a different rate and a different direction as well. So this creates this really nice parallax effect. So by using this cutout, we have different layers. So it also reacts to scrolling. So when you scroll, you have some animation here. So the subject in front and the title in the back is moving independently, which create this really awesome effect. And I really like this kind of layout because it puts the product right in front, and I like the kind of style of the big typography in the back. So this is the kind of layout that I want, and it turned out really great. Now let's look at the next section because this is also important. So here, when we scroll, we see the film playing, and when we play scroll back up, then it's playing in reverse. So this was made with the Google Flow video. So it's the same principle as in this template that I made before. So we are kind of like scrubbing through it. So it's not a video. So we use the video as the base, but we extract uh, all frames, like multiple frames, to create this kind of illusion of playing, scrubbing through the video, playing back and forth. So the first frame will be on top of the scroll. So this image of the robot with all its components, and we map the scrolling with all the frames. So once you go through the to the end here, then this will be the last frame where we see the robot in full. And in between are all the frames that were extracted from the actual video. So also for performance, once we leave the section, then the rendering stops. So this is important to have that optimization so that the website is lighter. Now in the next section, so here we change the visual completely. So here it's more like of a engineering drawing. So a lot of product website have that. It's very common. So you can have different layout. So here on the left, the important thing about this section is that it's all about information layering. So as I said, you can have multiple layout. This one has the product on the left with the measurement, the dimensions, also numbered markers here that is linked to here the information on the right. So you can also have the layout. Let's say you have the image in the middle and have the lines and the features where all in the around it. So here you want to display all the features, what you want to sell, what are the most the best feature that you want the customer or the user to see when navigating to your website. So here we have the sensing, the stature, we have this the hand, the locomotion, the power, and the voice. So here, like I said, it's all about information. So display all the best features that you have for your product in this section. Now let's look at the next section, which I really like. So we start with this video that is super awesome. It's really great for a product. So for example, if it's in this case, it's the robot, but it could be like a camera or any other like tech gadget. So this kind of view is, it's very popular. It's a great visual. So we can just replay it here. We can replay it just to see it again. So I really like this one. So this is a like a pinned section. So we have 5 different sections that are pinned, and as we scroll, we are going to switch between them, and you can see here the transition here that is really nice, and it has the purple accent of the website as well. And there's also this magnifying X-ray effect here on hover. So this is really good. It's really nice. It adds a bit of originality to the section. And it's not actually using 2 images here. It's using shaders. So like this is defined by our cursor, right? So it's going to zoom into the image inside the circle. for the magnifying effect, and then it's going to use this kind of dark theme inside of it. So you can look at it in the code. The template will be provided, and you can also look for this transition if you like it. So it goes on like that, and we have the final one here, which is the hip, and you have the text here that is related to each section. So let's scroll down. The next one here, this is actually a video. So the scrubbing as before. So it's just like putting two videos together, and it's like displaying the robot that is delicate with the touching, because that's important. That's a feature that is important for this website, for this concept, because you don't want a robot that is too hard or too rough or could break anything, right? So if it can handle an egg easily, then it's going to be safe for home usage. You have some interactions here. So let's go down again. Then the assets are really important for your website. Like sometimes it's just like the assets that makes everything different, you know? So make sure to work and get the best result that you can get from your images. So this kind of like studio lighting style with the background here, that's something that I really like, and it makes it so much more professional. So below here we have this section, and you can drag it with your mouse, and you're going to see the images. And the reason that it's not pinned on scroll is because we don't want to force users to kind of go through all the images every time they want to scroll, right? So if they want to see more images, they can just click, or they can just use their mouse like this, because we're already using the scroll driven for this. It's already playing, so that we don't want like users to be locked in the scroll, that they're forced to watch all the images. So this is an option for them, and it's a good thing to keep in mind. So here we have this background image with all the parts, and this shows the part more like in a display feature, because the other one was on top here was like a video. So this one is more for like the experience, and the other one is more like a display of the actual parts. This is good to have as a background image. So then we have the CTA section, the call to action, and so once the user went through all our like browsing experience, then we give it the call to action here, so they can, here join the series A. We have the purple accent as well. We can switch between the two finish here. So once they understand the product, the website, everything, every feature that we displayed, so this is where we're going to tie everything together and give the user the chance to take actions on it. So that's it for this template. So to resume, the workflow is to let Opus interview you, let it ask you questions about what you want to build. So sometimes you're going to find other aspects or angles that you haven't thought about. So you can use Opus in Aura as well. You have all the different models here. So we have Opus 5 right here. And also, if you want to have inspirations or start, and instead of starting from scratch, then you can come here and see we have all these templates, and you can start with any of them, and then you can iterate it to get it into your own product. So this is a great way to jumpstart your product, as well as that for inspiration as well. So that's it for this one, and thank you for watching.